Started. Welcome,
Hello.
comadres, to the Moon Report. We have a special guest Moon Reporter today. Uh, Daniella Veras is here. I will let her introduce herself and get these things started. Thank you, Danny, as always, for stepping in when I need you. So the floor is yours, baby.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone who's here live with us, people who are going to be watching later on. My name is Danny Veras, and I'm an evolutionary astrologer, mystic, creativity catalyst. I also do some voiceover work. I do all kinds of things. Like, I just have fun. And I should turn that off because we don't want those things going on. And that's off. Beautiful. So, today I'm filling in and bringing you guys an amazing full moon report. So do you guys just mind if I just get like right into it and just like, just dig right in? Because this, oh, wow, this has been a year, y'all. This has been a year. And as I was like sitting with it, with the energy of this moon, with what's been going on, with the energy of everything happening all around us, you know, what was coming through for me is how this year has really made us aware of what is most important, has really brought us in closer to our hearts, closer to our families, closer to like, what do we really want to do in this life? So going back, the Cancer moon is probably the most emo moon, which you probably already know. It's watery. The Cancer is at home. The moon is at home in Cancer rather, and it taps us into our deepest emotions, our personal emotions. Okay. So one of the things this Cancer moon is inviting you to do is like to ask yourself, how do I feel? How do I feel? And not just the good feelings, but also the bad feelings. Like what things are coming up for you? What things are you tolerating? That's one big word that has been coming up for me when I sat with it. It's just like, what are the things in your life that you've been tolerating that need to be released? As we all know, because there's a lot of mystics in this community, I know you're used to the new moon and the full moon report, and the full moon is generally about culminations, about terminations. So this is a great opportunity for you to release those things you've been tolerating that are no longer in alignment with who you know you are and who you want to be moving forward. Okay, so in this year, we've had not one, not two, but 4 Cancer moons, okay, both new and full. So this has been a really big year of us really getting clear with how we feel, developing this sense of internal emotional security. And from that space, like I'm an evolutionary astrologer and I look at polarities. What's the polarity of Cancer? Capricorn, what we are building for ourselves in the world. Okay. So when you've been acting potentially out of integrity with yourself and how you feel and what you know to be true and what you want to experience and not letting your heart guide you, what you create won't be in alignment with what you're here to do. So here is this full moon, especially towards the end of the year, when now we're all looking forward in this trajectory. We got these planets moving forward, Jupiter in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius. It's like, how do we want to show up? Okay. And it's asking you, like, are you being in integrity with how you feel? And if you're not, how is that presenting and manifesting in the creations of your existence here on this plane? Okay. The other thing that's happening right now is that we've got Chiron square this full moon. So what happens, for those of you that are not aware of Chiron, Chiron is known as the wounded healer. I'm kind of like just using those words because that's what people know it as, but I'm still kind of working with the dynamic there. I don't know that I necessarily really resonate with that idea of a healer that never heals themselves, right? So that's a whole other conversation. But because it's square there, it's actually, there's how do I say? Healing that wants to go really deep to the heart of whether it's family, our relationships, all these things that are coming up. You're probably seeing that playing out in your relationships right now, where it's like maybe you're not honoring your feelings. You're not honoring how you feel at your job, at with your partnerships, with your friendships. And those are things that maybe didn't start now. Maybe these are things that have been coming up from your childhood, from the past. Cancer also represents family and roots. So this is a big opportunity for you to get clear with that. What else? So I made several little notes when I looked at this. So the moon, for those of you who are doing any rituals, is going to be exact at 10:28 Eastern. For those of you who are Eastern, 7:28 Pacific at 8 degrees in Cancer. I will definitely entertain questions and see chart specific. But for those of you who will be watching later, I did want to give you something to work with. Let's see. So with the first house, if you are having the moon in your first house, so what you will do if you haven't casted your chart before, you're going to want to look at where does 8 degrees of Cancer fall. So if you need help with that, I'll be happy to give you guys a little quick little tutorial, but I'm hoping most of you know where your houses are, where 8 degrees of Cancer is. So if it's in your first house, you might be looking at things related to how you feel about yourself and how that presents in your relationships, your appearance. Maybe the way that you have been showing up and presenting yourself and expressing yourself isn't in alignment with how you actually feel. So that needs to change. That needs to shift. Okay. If it's in your second house, that might be about possessions, how you value yourself, money, maybe even pleasure. Are you allowing yourself to receive? Are you allowing yourself to open to bliss? Have you pushed your threshold for pleasure? Especially there are a lot of women and women identified people in this community. A lot of our ways of being able to manifest and create in this world is deeply connected to our ability to receive and experience pleasure. Where have you, if it's in your second house, consider, where am I holding back for myself? Where am I scared to open up and receive? A lot of people think it's just pain that's hard, but sometimes pleasure is hard too, especially if you already capped yourself out at a ceiling. So maybe look at that. If it's in your third house, you might want to look at communications, family, like siblings mostly, not like with the traditional like family, but more like siblings, short trips, writing. You know what? There's maybe the way that you've been communicating or showing your voice, or maybe you've been held back on some level in the way that you've been speaking and communicating, and that needs to shift. So that's something to look at. In the fourth house, home, your private life, your personal emotions, your roots, and even sometimes like ancestry. We can look at ancestry there. Okay, are there some things you need to let go about, some family karmic patterns? Are there outdated things that you need to let go about the ways that you related to your family? Are there things that have to do with, let's see, even your diet? Maybe you need to clean your house. Get rid of some things. Marie Kondo it, okay? How about that? Like we made that may, if that's Cancer in your fourth house, fifth house. Ooh, this one's fun, right? Personal expression, romance, creativity. Maybe you're done with expressing yourself the way that you were doing it before. Maybe there's a new project that wants to be born from you, but every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Okay? So maybe there's something you need to start saying no to and create space for this new part of you that wants to emerge and be expressed. And again, tap into those feelings. Again, everything's going to be really getting clear with your energy body, with your heart, and what you're truly feeling within yourself. And mind you, I'm over here just waxing about all the houses, but listen, if it resonates, take it. It's for you, boo-boo, okay? So let's see, also like romance. Are you, I think a lot of people associate, dating, yeah. Maybe you need to cut off this dating relationship that isn't nurturing you or fulfilling you in the way that you know you deserve. How do you feel? Okay. The sixth house. Ooh, this is another one. Self-improvement, your work, your routine, your habits. What's not working for you? Okay. Like with the sixth house, if you have Cancer in the sixth house, you need to have routines that nurture your spirit and your body. Okay. There's a sense of self-care. Cancer is really good about taking care of the self. At least that's what you should be doing, is like taking care of yourself, developing inner security and authority so that you can show up powerfully in the world. Self-care is absolutely sacred, says Cancer in the sixth house. Okay. So seventh house, relationships, partnerships. Okay. A lot of people like to think that, seventh house, yes, it's about relationships, but it's not just romantic relationships. We can look at the fifth house for that too, but also about partnerships, about collaborations, about business, about people that you connect with one-on-one. What's not working? Is there someone that's falling out of alignment with you and you're trying to hold on, but maybe you need to let go? Okay, don't fight it. If it comes, let it. If it goes, let it. There's no reason for you to keep fighting and keep holding on to this. Cancer loves to hold on sometimes. You can't let stuff go, but this time you're gonna have to learn. Okay, eighth house, intimacy, vulnerability, shadow work, transformation, other people's money. Let's see. This is that a lot of people describe the eighth house as the ultimate house of letting go. Sometimes they even say sex. I think sex is everywhere, but that's a whole other conversation. The eighth house, there may be some deep-seated things you've been hiding, private matters that need to come up to be healed, to let go. To like, are you overprotecting yourself? And that's the thing. This is the interesting thing. Yes, have boundaries. Boundaries are great, but don't build walls. Okay. When you have boundaries, you have discernment. You can open it up. You can open the door. You can close the door. You can decide what you allow and what you allow out. But when you're building a wall, you're blocking everything, baby, even your blessings. And we don't want that. So check yourself and see, where is a space that due to other previous hurts, I'm having difficulty being open and vulnerable? Where am I having trust issues around this? And how can I develop my inner trust in myself and in my own discernment to allow myself to open up in a way that serves me and all those involved? Okay. The ninth house. Okay. So the ninth house is, a lot of people don't always consider it a spiritual house, but yeah, they do, because they associate it with religions, but it has to do with, to me, the distinction between information and knowledge, wisdom, beliefs, which is why it has the religious association. What do you believe? So when it's in the ninth house, I would invite you to consider your beliefs. Are your beliefs outdated? Have you been holding on too much because this is how you feel about something, like you have a traumatic or emotional attachment to a belief system that is no longer serving you? This Cancer full moon is inviting you to consider, who am I without my beliefs? Can I be more? How would my life shift? How would I shift the way I show up in the world if I let go of this belief? Okay. Ooh, 10th house. The 10th house is generally, it's represented but with how you show up in the world, meaning the public space. Because usually you have the ascendant is like me, like your body, your hair. But then when the 10th house talks about public image, reputation, career, work, you know, the arena of when people are like, more people are viewing you versus like how we see you one-on-one. Okay, so if you're having a full moon there, you might think about, do I like how I feel in my job? Do I like who I am, how I feel when I show up in this capacity? Do I like how I'm even being perceived? Does it match with how I feel about myself? Am I out of integrity? Am I using external security to try to create internal security for myself? And if you haven't realized it yet, y'all, that doesn't work. Inside out, outside in, always fails. With the 11th house, community, social media. Community is almost like the family. It's very specific, very niche, right? It's the family, almost like the family you choose, like comadres, right? Like we choose to be together. We have these shared interests. We have similar values, you know, and a full moon there is also a renewal or like an energy of like, does something here need to shift to? Do I need to have more sisters or more people around me that are more aligned with how I feel and my values? Do I feel supported in this community? Do I feel encouraged in this community? You know, it's really about, again, and if you've noticing a theme about this Cancer moon, it's about how do I feel? Forget what people tell you or what you think you should do or what looks good. You know, it's like, how do I feel? Okay. And so, and if you don't have the people around you that are uplifting you and supporting you and like really, really pouring into you, then maybe you need like a whole new squad, y'all. Okay. And this is like an invitation to do that. It's like, okay, listen, this is a great time to do that. Okay, and with the 12th house, this one's always like a real nebulous house for people. Like this one is also sometimes related to spirituality. They think about the formlessness. It's very Neptunian or Piscean, you know. A lot of times it's, how do I say? You want to try to see where you may be escaping your feelings. What aren't you dealing with that you might be medicating? What aren't you, what are you unwilling to see about yourself, or maybe hiding or masking your feelings about something? You know, and you know, where can you courageously show up for yourself? Feel your feelings and deal with this stuff here and now. The thing about it is, like, sometimes escapism is fun. We can sit there and mindlessly scroll on Instagram. We turn on the Netflix. We got the, you know, Watch Soul on, you know, on Disney Plus, highly recommend. But then guess what? Your problems are still going to be there. So at some point, you're going to have to deal with it. And that might be now, sooner rather than later. Okay. So I think I went through all the houses and stuff. There's definitely different things like that can happen if they're conjunct certain planets or important positions in your chart. If you don't have a chart, I see some questions coming in. You guys can pull one on astro.com, astroseek.com. The best way would be if you know your birth date, time, and place, and that will give you the most complete picture. I think that's all we got for now. Unless there's something else y'all want me to talk about. And I know we're going to answer some questions offline. Yeah.
So we will answer questions offline for all the people that are here watching. Thank you, Danny, for putting this out there for the people that are just seeing the recording. Las Comadres is opening in the end of January. So if you are interested in checking us out, we are going to be having a whole bunch of events in January. So you will see us in all the ways that are posted right next to this video. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, Danny.